Welcome to Downshift. My name is Matt and this is the Ford Raptor R. This is Ford's super powered trophy truck for the road, and today we're going to take a tour of all the coolest and most interesting things going on with the Raptor R. Let's get into it. Firstly, and how could we not start with the engine? Here you get the 6.2 liter supercharged Predator engine. It's the engine lifted from the Shelby GT500, but it's been retuned, of course, for truck duty, aka torque. Here it's putting out 700 horsepower and 640 pound-feet, as opposed to the 702, 2 more in the TRX and 10 more pound-feet. But the Raptor here is only 200 pounds more than the V6 Raptor and 400 pounds less than the TRX, so still you're netting positive. 0 to 60 here is under 4 seconds, and of course the supercharger on top looks really, really cool, and you can see on the side it says powered by Ford, homage to old racing days, and that is pretty cool. And then we're going to talk tires. The R comes standard with 37-inch BFG K02 all-terrain tires. This is the biggest tire fitted to any production vehicle on sale. They're optional on the 3.5 EcoBoost Raptor for the F-150, but on the Bronco Raptor, these tires are also standard. And if you look closely, it says Baja Champion right there on the sidewall, because after all, this truck, it is a Baja Champion. And then we're around back to talk about this little area right here. You still have a single outlet, but you cannot option the Pro Power onboard generator here on your range-topping Raptor R, which kind of sucks because you could get 2 kilowatts of output on your 3.5 EcoBoost Raptor, but not here, not at $110,000, and not on the flagship Halo supercharged V8. And then we're going to talk about some of your off-road aids. You do have trail controls, off-road cruise control, so you can pick your line. You of course got trail cameras to help you do that, but you also have a locking rear differential right here, as well as everyone's favorite feature, but every diff's least favorite feature, trail turn assist, which is going to break the inside wheel, basically lock it up so that it just drags and the car, or truck I should say, will rotate around tighter turns and skinnier trails. It works really, really well, but try to not use it so much. And it's pretty common for off-road trucks to have some sort of running board / rock rail here, but it's less common to have your name imprinted onto said running board. And now I want to talk about a naughty exterior detail, specifically these ditch lights or fog lights or whatever you want to call them. You can see you've got a Rigid Industries LED here, off-road standard, very, very good. You love to see it, but what's this? Well, you can take this off and you have another one. So why would they cover it up from the factory? Well, there's a law that states the front of any vehicle can only emit so much lumens or so much lighting. So they have to put a cover over this one, and then they leave it up to you. It's out of their hands. It's up to you to take that off. And while we're down here in the bumper, we might as well talk recovery hooks. Of course, unlike the Tundra TRD Pro, you do have front recovery hooks, and they're code orange or whatever this color is called. I get it wrong between the Bronco and the Raptor, but they're color matched up here. But on the back, you can see that they're just black. Why? Now we're going to talk back seats, and importantly, the Raptor R and Raptor EcoBoost only come as Super Crew configuration. So you get max back seat, and what you get here is absolutely huge. I'll pop in here in a second, but loads of legroom, loads of headroom. You do get the powered rear glass here, and then you do also have 2-level heated seats. You've got vents, you've got 12 volt, you've got USB-C, USB-A, and a normal 120 volt outlet back here. You've also got some interesting detailing. You've got your denim that continues and your kind of code orange, or again, I'm going to get this wrong, contrast stitching here and carbon fiber. But I'll step in. I'm 6'1", miles of knee room. Plus, of course, you've got your grab handle and your lonely shirt or jacket hanger up here. And we're back up front to talk marker lights. Now, federal regulation says at and over 80 inches, you have to have some marker lights to signify where the vehicle begins and ends. And of course, you've got them across the front of your grille. Now, these are commonly referred to as Raptor lights because the Raptor kind of introduced them and made them cool. And they also then, since these have to be amber, come on, turn on, they've made the running lights amber as well. I'm sorry for the shutter speed and it looks kind of crazy like this. It doesn't actually look like that in real life, but it is cool. But another Raptor staple is the fact that it says Ford in the grille, and it's gloss black finish here on the R, and I believe, if I remember correctly, the EcoBoost was a matte black finish. So that's interesting. And like I said, you have to designate the exterior of the vehicle, so you have these fang lights on the outside of your wheel arches. And if you look really carefully, it says Ford there. And the same thing on the back here. It says Ford right there on your little fang lights. And since we're talking about lighting, we might as well finish up talking about the running lights. Again, amber checks. They turn on as you approach the truck, but if you're not paying attention, you might have missed this. It says Raptor in the headlight casing. And then we're going to talk about the tailgate. Now this, I believe, is missing the bed accessory package or the bed utility package or some sort of package, because in the past we've had a more robust tailgate than this. This one is missing the ruler that goes across, it's missing the bed step, but interestingly it does continue to have the clamps as well as the bottle openers. But you guess, again, don't have the step and you don't have the Pro Power onboard. And then touching on styling, the R actually isn't a huge departure from the styling of the base Raptor. Some of the only ways that you can tell really are the red R's on the exterior. You've got one here in your grille, and then you've got one here on your hood bulge, Raptor, second R. And then on the same second R, other side. But then we look at our bed decal, which again, Raptor, second R, red, makes total sense. And then we'll check the other side. You have a second R red Raptor on your tailgate. But then look at this. On the other side, it's the first R, and that's because it's the first R, or the R that's closest to the back of the truck. Interesting detail. You've got them mismatched on the bed, but they do match on the hood. And there's one more place where you would never see a red R. And that is the shock body on your Fox racing shocks. Look at that. You will never see that detail. Even Daddy Doug didn't find that one. And it wouldn't be a Ford off-roader without GOAT modes. That is your drive mode dial down there. And you've got about 7 different GOAT modes. Slippery, and it's gonna adjust your 4x4 settings, tow haul. It'll also adjust damper settings, exhaust settings, sport, normal, off-road. And these are like 3 different off-road ones. This one is Baja, so a little bit more suspension travel. And then the last one is rock crawl, I believe, if this would ever get out of the way. Get out of the way! Yes, and the last one is rock crawl. And all of these animations are super cool. They're really crisp, really fast. The graphics are cool. The truck is a different color in every one of them. And we'll talk more about that in a second. Okay, like I said, all of the trucks are different colors, and you've been seeing the exterior orange of the truck this entire time. So tell me if you see an orange truck in here at all. White, white, blue, tan, green tan, orange. This is the closest one I've seen. But then, if we go into our fuel economy truck, that's white or silver. If we scroll down to our other fuel economy truck, that's blue. That's not even a Raptor, that's just a blue Ford. Then if we go into reverse, it's like gray or charcoal. Where's the orange? It's the whole point here. And even the startup and shutdown, blue! I mean, I know blue is Ford's color, but I guess I was kind of expecting to see orange. Maybe on startup. Let's say no. Okay, get out of the way. Ford tough. And we're blue. So it didn't even go, it went from white to blue. And like I mentioned, all of the styling changes for the V8 here are really, really subtle. But there are a couple ways that you can tell. Obviously, these are all 8s in here. All of these details are 8s, except this one says V8. And then, if you go all the way to the front, on your hood decal, again, a sea of 8s, but it does say supercharged V8 right here. So if that wasn't gonna give it away, and that wasn't gonna give it away, you can still tell if you're flying a drone. And then I want to talk about this steering wheel because there's a lot going on here. First of all, you've got more buttons and more customizability than like a BMW M car. You've got buttons to control your steering inputs. You've got 4 different modes to control steering inputs. You've got damper tuning, normal, sport, off-road. And then you've got your exhaust setting, which goes from quiet to normal to sport to Baja. It is really, really loud, but in quiet, it really, really quiets off. Like, it is almost silent. But then on the other side, you have this R button, which is for your Raptor settings or your custom. Again, kind of like a BMW M1 and M2 on either side of the steering wheel, you have it in the Raptor, which is just kind of cool. Your steering wheel is heated, or at least it would be if chip shortages weren't a thing. But this is my favorite thing. Can you hear this? Metal shift paddles. These are super satisfying. The 10-speed is really good. And of course, it says Raptor down here with the contrasted Raptor stitching. An orange noon marker. So there is still some orange, even if it's not on the animated trucks. Take a look at this center console though. You see this? You have a safe built in here. It's like an extra option. It's like $100 or a couple $100, but this is a pretty normal thing for a truck to have, but you can lock your center console if you want to. But let's talk about the seats for a second. They're awesome. They're super comfortable. They're Alcantara and leather, kind of two-tone. They've got the contrasted orange stitching. They've got Bang & Olufsen speakers in the headrest here. Very classic Raptor staple. But look, it even says Raptor, as it normally would, but you have the red R, and the red R is a different texture. This is kind of like an Alcantara. This is more of like a rubberized texture, which is interesting. And just because Recaro did the manufacture and design, they get a little shout out on this metal tab here. But with that, let's talk about the interior color in general. Again, it's black, typical, but it does have that orange contrasted accenting. And it does for every exterior color. So it matches really nicely with the exterior paint here, but if you get a white Raptor, you're still gonna have the orange all in the interior. But zooming out, we'll just talk about the screen real quick. It's the big 12-inch system. This is the same screen that's in the normal Raptor. It's not the vertical orientation one that we've seen in the Lightning, but it's perfectly fine here. Wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You've got multiple things that you can see. You've got your trail turn, your zone lighting, and all the other stuff that I would want to see in here. So still a really nice, really quick and responsive system. But there's also another Mustang feature in here. It doesn't just take the engine from a Mustang, you could say, but it borrows something else. You go into settings, vehicle, and then you can select quiet start. And then you can set different quiet start times. So between the hours of, I don't know, 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. or whatever it may be, the truck will start in a quiet mode. So you're not going to disturb your neighbors, which is very thoughtful, and hopefully buyers will take advantage of this, at least if they live next to me. And then I thought this one was funny. You go down into settings in your cluster here, and you can have a setting to warn you or remind you if you're crossing a border. Just made me laugh. In a big pickup truck, there's a border warning. So those are the 28 most interesting things about the Ford F-150 Raptor R. Be sure to stay tuned, because next week we're going to do our full and comprehensive deep dive and review on the best and the rest with this truck. We'll see you then.